We're talking about that credit guarantee scheme that was announced by President Uhuru Kenyatta. And this is all about building back, building better, and enabling SMEs to build back better after the pandemic. So let's start off with 5 things that you need to know about the credit guarantee scheme that was approved by Cabinet, and of course the regulations have been put in place. So we start off with understanding what it is. So what is the credit guarantee scheme? Think of it as a risk-sharing arrangement. Now what that means is typically this: SMEs, even before COVID, were thought to be either risky or to be perceived to be risky, particularly by the commercial banks, right? You and your small business walk into the bank and you're seeking a loan. They ask you for collateral. They ask you for your books, and you are deemed to be risky. So what it is the government is coming in to be a guarantor for your loan, at least in part. So they're taking up some of the collateral for that, okay? And they will be doing this, we'll talk about the amount in just a moment, to enable SMEs get access to credit for loans that they would use either as working capital, for asset acquisition, for rebuilding their businesses that have been affected by natural disasters or other financial crises such as the COVID-19 pandemic that we find ourselves in. So here's the second thing we need to know: how much money has been set aside? 10 billion shillings. Initially, it was a seed capital of 3 billion, but then that was shored up to 10 billion and approved by Cabinet. Now, remember, all of these have been passed as amendments into the PFM Act. The regulations, they sought public participation for that. That ended in August. You can find the regulations for this on the Treasury website. That's treasury.go.ke. So, who is eligible for this credit guarantee scheme? Well, typically, it is the SMEs, micro, small and medium enterprises, typically SMEs with 51 to 250 employees, and there must be businesses that have no more than 100 million shillings of a turnover. You must be registered as a business or a company, registered by the county government, have a valid business permit, and get this, you also have to be tax compliant, all right? So all of these to make sure that you are eligible for this scheme. When is it expected to be operational? Well, we understand by mid-October, that is mid this month. Like we said, the amendments have gone through in Parliament, the regulations have been done, and we'll get some more details of this when we speak to the PS in Treasury in just a moment. Now, this is one thing that is important to understand about the credit guarantee scheme. It is not a grant. This is actually a loan and will be subject to the repayment terms as we have seen when you take any other loan with the bank. So that is important for you to understand, and to understand not to default, because what it is the government is doing is basically coming in as a guarantor, at least in part, for a loan that you would be taking from a commercial entity. That is a lender or a bank or a microfinance institution. Those are the 5 things you need to know about this credit guarantee scheme that the government says is to help shore up SMEs, small businesses here in the country. All right? So I want us to now have a conversation about that with the PS in